Okay, so why don't we have Jenny and Mary introduce yourselves.
Okay, yeah, I'll go first. I'm Jenny Fackler. I'm the recruiter at Polaris Solutions. We are an IT consulting company based in both St. Louis and Chicago, and I'm very happy to be here. Excited to see what you guys have.
Hi, everyone. I am Mary Disney. I am a talent acquisition specialist with Uncommon. We are a consulting firm working primarily in the IT space. Just about any position in IT, we probably hire for it. We are based out of O'Fallon, Illinois by Scott Air Force Base, but we do also have an office in downtown St. Louis. And yeah, this is, I think, maybe my third or fourth demo day I've sat in on, and I'm just really excited to see all your projects.
Awesome, thank you. Nicole, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Good to see you again. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Dotson. I'm actually the program coordinator for LETC under the leadership of Kelly Spangler. We've had the opportunity to actually partner with Savvy Coder through a DOL grant called H-1B Workforce Grant, and it allows us the opportunity to actually fund students through that program for individuals that are unemployed and underemployed. So we are super excited that today is demo day, and we look forward to seeing everybody wonderful Capstone Projects. So thanks for having me and having LBTC.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so first up, we have Spencer.
All right. Well, hi, and thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Spencer Dunlap, and I have a background in operations and project management, primarily working on US government contracts. Last year, like so many others, my role was impacted by COVID-19, and my job included a fair amount of travel. However, as the pandemic settled in, that aspect of my job disappeared. Without this draw, I began to search for a new professional challenge. And from a young age, I was always fascinated with how things worked. This fascination extended into my use of the web, where websites such as MySpace and GeoCities really taught me that basic HTML and CSS, which planted a seed that would lead me to where I am today. While researching career changes, I remember my past experiences and became intrigued with coding boot camps. I took a deeper look at what opportunities existed on a local level here within St. Louis. And after attending a preview night for Savvy Coders, I knew that I wanted to explore a career in web development. For my capstone project, I chose to create a web app to assist in managing rental portfolios. And then to create this capstone, I used JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and then cloud hosting through Netlify and Heroku. I used third-party APIs to add additional functionality to my site and chose to collect user information and store it in a database using MongoDB. While I plan to continue building out my capstone project, let me show you my process and what I've created here so far. All right. Let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can everyone see this okay? Great. So when mapping out the layout of my capstone, and really where I began with planning here was to use wireframes and the accompanying user flow that I'll show you here in a second to really truly create a visual representation of what I had in my head. So as you'll see from the wireframe, we have our logo in the upper left-hand corner, photo slider in the middle to really draw in that user as they come to the website, and our Google Maps API at the bottom to add that additional level of functionality, and our menu items to really make it a website where people can navigate to and from different parts of the site itself. With this, we created a user flow so that when someone comes to the website, they stay on the website. So as we're on our homepage, we click on our properties page, we're able to submit rental applications, we're able to go and request more contact information. So all this is done within, we're not sending people to another website and then losing interest from our prospective, in this case, tenants. As you'll see, as we dive into looking at the visual representation of the website here, things change. So you plan everything out, you have this idea of what you want it to look like. And then for whatever reason, whether it's diving in and saying, you know what, I've changed my mind, or running into roadblocks along the way, there are always adjustments. So I focused on creating a minimally viable product, which will take us to where we are today. Before I dive into showing you the website, I wanted to talk about one more thing that I really leaned on when creating and working on my project in general. I used what I learned during my AC Agile certification to leverage tools such as Jira to plan out my capstone using sprints and backlog items complete with user stories. I also took advantage of Kanban style boards to stay organized. I love that style of organizing. I also love sticky notes. So I always have a stack of sticky notes on my desk, and I use different colors just to prioritize things here and there. Within the Savvy Coders program, I operated as a product owner for our team and worked to guide and manage our backlog user stories and sprints within Jira. I was also then an active participant in our daily ceremonies, such as our daily stand-ups, our sprint planning, and then those retrospectives to keep everything moving forward. So with that, let me show you the first iteration of my capstone. So this is Dunlap Properties LLC. You'll see at the beginning here, we still have our logo in the upper left-hand corner, harkening back to that wireframe as well as our photo. It is not a slider. This is a then still image, as well as our tagline and our navigation at the top. You can see here one of the things or two of the things that are different. We no longer have that secondary menu in the lower right-hand corner. And we also then don't have that Google Maps API here. I chose to move those items and implement them on different areas of the website, just based on wanting to navigate through each page a little bit differently. So let me show you the different pages and views that I've created on my website. So the first page that I want to talk about, and this will be the website that ends up being, or the page within the website that ends up being one of the most important ones, it is the properties tab. So this is where prospective tenants will come, they'll click and be able to see a little bit more information about the different units that are available. So this in future iterations, this section of the website here, instead of featuring a still image of the apartment, will be a photo slider to add additional interest and different views within then that apartment itself. We have our Google Maps API, which I'll talk about here in a second, and then our description of the website, complete with then a way to request more information, which will take you to another page within the site. Before we talk about the Google Maps API, I want to talk about the Open Weather Map API that I used within this portion of my website. So as you're looking and researching apartments, as you're looking for someplace to make your home, you may not always know where you're at. So if you're living in California, if you're living out of state, Colorado, or even across the globe, you may want to know what the weather is like where you're going to move. So I chose to then implement this Open Weather Map API to give a little bit more of a feel, which in this instance, it's not too humid of a day in St. Louis with 49%. So it's a nice temperature here, and I really enjoy the day. Just a few clouds. If we circle over to the Google Maps API, in addition to knowing what the weather is where you're going to go, it's really nice to know what is around. So this is something where you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can see what is around the area where the apartment is. I chose not to put a specific pin where the apartment is at this point in time, but did do a general area so that we can zoom in and we can see what's around here. So I don't know if anyone is familiar with this part of St. Louis. If you click on the map, if we click on Fiddlehead Cafe here, it opens up a Google Maps page, which shows us a little bit more information. So we see the cafe, we see the different ratings and reviews that are here, and it gives someone that feel of what an area is like, what I like to live here, what I like to be around the different areas. If we click out of our Google Maps page here, we are again still on our website, and I want to take us to the prospects page. So this is the page that you'll be directed to when you click on find more information, and you can fill out then a request to learn about a specific apartment. I've chose to have this page be displayed for demonstration purposes, but it will eventually be hidden. Again, as you request information on a website, you don't want your information to be public, but for the sake of demonstrating my Express server and then using MongoDB as a database, I wanted to show the information that we input into the form and how that then is requested, stored, and coming back to then my page. So if we keep with the Marvel Universe theme that we have down below with each of our prospective tenants, let's have Peter Parker submit an application or a request for more information rather on our website. So we'll have him interested in 4038R, and then can I shoot webs in the apartment. When we submit our interest form, it takes us back to the properties page, so we stay within that website. And then if we navigate back to prospects, scroll to the bottom, we will see that Peter Parker has been added to our database. I want to go ahead and show you one more thing with MongoDB, which is where we are storing all of this information. This is a website that was loaded prior to inputting Peter Parker as a prospective tenant. So his object, his information is not stored. If I go ahead and refresh, look at this again, you will see down at the bottom, Peter Parker is stored as an object within the page. So this can be used to collect any sort of information that we want from a customer, from a prospective tenant, and to really use any way that is advantageous for the owner of this site. I want to show one more thing. As we look at this page here, we see Bruce Wayne, Batman is the first person on the list. If we scroll up and we delete Bruce Wayne from our database, we will see that as we refresh the page, Bruce Wayne is no longer there. We have Bruce Banner, the Hulk, as our first prospective tenant on the list. So with that, let's scroll back up, and I want to show one other aspect of my website here before I go and dive a little bit into the code and show you that. So the other form that I have on my website is the maintenance tab. So as prospective tenants, or as current tenants rather, need maintenance, they need to file a request, they would fill out this form. This varies from the prospective tenant form. It uses formspree.io instead of an Express server where data is then stored in a database via MongoDB like the prospect pages. And I'll show you that difference here in the code in just a second. But with this maintenance form, it routes through formspree.io. I get an instant notification when a maintenance request is filed, then with the name, unit, address, phone number, and then what that specific request is. So showing two different ways of collecting information with differing ways of functionality there. So if we pivot and we look at the code, we can show how this is different. So you'll see here at the top, we are looking at our prospects.js page. You'll see the different fields that we have related to the form. So first name, last name, email address, property, and then our method up here that's highlighted. Our method is post. So I'll show you more about that in a second, but I want to show you the maintenance page first. So if we click on the maintenance page, you'll see that we have those same or similar categories, similar fields here, our full name, our unit address, email, telephone, and maintenance request. But this action, instead of being post, is formspree.io. So that is telling and using code to go through Formspree versus going through my Express server using different methods. We'll go back to our prospects page. We see our method is post. And we can see our different ways of using our router to post information to our database. I've chose to notate out a few other methods. So I can use the post method like I did within my prospects page. I can build other functionality into my website using my Express server where I can get information, which is then how, if we look here, under our prospects tab, this information from our MongoDB server is being then pushed onto our website using those routes. We also have then the ability to get my specific ID to delete information. Again, this is why someone may use an Express server instead of using formspree.io. We just have a different level of functionality. But again, that difference is all of this code, this entire page, as well as a few other ones, versus then within our maintenance page, it's literally just this action going through formspree.io. So different functions, different uses for both of those, and different levels of code needed to write. With that, I wanted to also then show you a couple of things that I thought were really cool and were fun. So, you know, prior to taking this course, I didn't know that in order to have functionality within a button that you needed to tell it to do something. So, I mean, really, this is just a box that says submit interest in it. But unless you tell unless you write in your code what is going to happen, nothing happens. It's just like this empty click. And I'll show you that here on our properties page. It's just an empty click. It doesn't go anywhere. You need to build in that functionality. So I want to show you this query selector and the add event listener function here too. So add event listener is a function that we've written to add an event to something. So it's listening for a click in this instance. And I want to show you where this a lisp comes in, and then how this works into some of the CSS that I'm using. So if you look at the ellipse, we can see it's also referenced here within our nav. Scroll up, this is our navigation bar. And there is no ellipse on the page, but we are using media queries within our CSS so that at different widths of websites, or if you're looking at your phone using a mobile device, which a lot of users do, we can change the way our website looks. So as I shrink this page, you'll see a couple of different things happen. So one, you'll see that the map API disappeared. And that is because I wanted on a smaller screen to reduce some of the clutter on the page. It's a lot harder to navigate through a Google map on your phone via a website than it is through the Google Maps app itself. So I wanted that to go away. And then as we continue to narrow this window, we can see that that ellipse comes up. Now, without this section of my code, with that event listener that we talked about just a second ago, nothing is going to happen. Without this query selectors finding that tag of ellipse, and this telling us to hide on different screen lengths, and then to navigate and show our nav bar, this wouldn't do anything. It would just be a blank 3 dots at the top. So as we click on that ellipse, it expands our menu bar. On those smaller screens, we have the reduced clutter when this is toggled on. And then when we click again, that functionality comes back. Everything else then still functions as you would want it to function. With that, I wanted to talk about one of the obstacles that I faced as I was building this website. And this is just one of the things. So we've, through the Savvy Coders program, had 12 weeks that we've been digesting everything. And it's been a lot of information to take in over a short amount of time. And so I really, as I came into roadblocks, as I came into challenges, needed to pull on the different resources that were available to me. So that is accessing the curriculum, looking at the material that we've covered in the past, using websites such as MDM, and then Google as well to look up and to reference different syntax and solutions that are out there. I also needed to rely on the instructors and the TAs to do this. And one of the big challenges that I had was getting my Google Maps API to display anything. So because this is a single page application, the place that we put our code ends up being very, very important. And in a traditional implementation of a Google Maps API, we would end up then putting all of the syntax, all of the code within our .html file. This then changes because we are using our Google Maps API, and I needed to put it at a different point in our website. So this is the little snippet of code that was used to implement the Google Maps API. And if this piece of code were anywhere else, if it was shifted towards the top of the page or onto a different page, this Google Maps API would not function, it would not display. And so that really showed me the importance of attention to detail, and then different ways of problem solving and working through those issues as they came up. And it was something that was invaluable to me, just to know that, you know, it's important to ask questions when you don't know. Spend some time digesting and looking on your own. And when you do truly run into that roadblock, reach out, use those resources that are available to you. So in future iterations of my website and future functionality that I will build into this is working on filling out the payments page and doing an official payments page that is able to accept secure payments. I think that's really important that you are protecting your user information and data. And so that will then be later on, but I left the menu item just so that we could talk about it here within our demonstration today. So with that, that rounds out my presentation, and I'd like to turn it over to all of you in case there are questions that I can answer.
No question for me, but great job. It was good to see the great amount of detail that went into your project.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, same for me, Spencer. Great job. I thought it was really cool to see that when I looked down at the temperature, and I was like, "Is that right now?" And it was pretty precise. So that was really cool. You don't see that generally when you're searching for apartments and things like that. So I thought that was really cool, and it was really cool that you could click on the map and see what's happening like in that area, because that's always important. Because for people like myself, when I was looking for apartments and things like that, I would drive the neighborhood just to kind of get a feel for what's around there if I was unfamiliar with the neighborhood that I was moving in. The other part that I always think is so cool is that you have the luxury to pay your rent online. And you don't see
Yeah.
that often. Sometimes you see it more in modern day, but you still have most times that's not an option unless you have a mortgage and things like that. So the fact that the apartment can be paid online and you are very just adamant about making sure that that's a secure site so that the person does feel comfortable with doing that is really cool. So definitely I agree. Job well done. Very, very detailed, and that's important.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions for Spencer? All right.
Wonderful. Thank you all.
All right, Savion, you're up next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Savion Amerson. I am a digital artist and a technician who diagnoses and helps repair wheelchairs for disabled clients. I've always had a fascination with machines and computers, and always like to fiddle around with them and see what they would do when I gave them certain inputs. And this is actually my second time taking Savvy Coders because I'm serious about learning the craft and refining my skills and being a better developer, not just web developer, but a developer in general. And with my background in digital art and my fascination with manipulating computers, I'd really love to make a career out of it, and as well as build my own brain children. And one brainchild that I am currently birthing is my project, which I call Dream Drop. And I will share my screen right now. Okay, can you guys see it? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Perfect, okay. So this is the app here, but before I get into that, one thing I would like to show you first is my wireframes. So right here, I have the model, which is very simple, very basic. You can pretty much get to every page on the site from the home page, and everything can easily lead back to the home page. It's as simple as that. And these are some of the wireframes that I drew out on paper. This is what I had for the post page, which allows the user to make a post with the title and the body and the post button. And this is the data displayed in the actual post itself, the title by the user, and then the content and the comment section. And here I have sort of my primitive version of a Jira board. I have note cards on my desk that I have color coded in order of priority. So the pink notes are high priority, orange, middle priority, yellow, lower priority. And whenever I finish a task, I just cross it off and store it away in a folder. And this is all the tasks crossed off. And with that, I'm going to get into the actual app. So this is Dream Drop. And this is a place where you can share dreams that you had. If you're at all familiar with Reddit, where you can make text posts about pretty much anything you want, this website is meant to be specifically for dreams. And I'm going to show it to you in action. If you come up here to this little pencil button here, you could say, I had a dream. I had some pie. And it was good. And you could say, I agree to Dream Drop's terms of service and disclose if your dream has adult content, which mine does not. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. And then I can drop it. And there it is right there. And if I go into it, there's all the data displayed right here. And there's a comment section. And this little part right here uses the Unsplash API, which generates a random image every time you come onto the page. And if you were to leave a comment, this would be the profile picture that would show up for you. And the purpose of this comment section is when someone posts about a dream that they've had, you could, if you are someone who believes that dreams have meaning, you could come in and say, I think you like pie. That would be my guess as to what this dream would mean. Then you could post that onto there. So the main purpose of this app, it's mainly meant for lucid dreamers, but you don't necessarily have to be a lucid dreamer to use this app. If you have a dream that you think is funny or just so wild that you feel that you have to share it with someone or share it with the world, Dream Drop would be the place you'd want to do that. And it doesn't specifically have to be dreams either. There's, as you can see, there's some other entries on here. It could be a simple dream, like I had a dream I got a dog and I named her Ruby. It could be one of your wild dreams, like I had a dream that I was forced to watch my cat dance ballet. I didn't write any of this, by the way. This is my first time reading it with you. And it could be sort of an advice post, like this person's boyfriend is dreaming that she breaks up with him, or a goal post. I reached 100 dreams written down, which is quite an impressive achievement. So with that, I would like to get into the technical part and show you the code. So it mainly runs off of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This little brick of code right here is where all the magic happens. So on this home page, you see that there are 5 blocks displayed. Earlier, before I put this one here, there were 4. What this block of code does is it goes into the database, which is running off of MongoDB right here. And it counts every dream that is put into the database from the posting page. And it says this amount of dreams, if we have this amount of dreams, display this many blocks and put each dream into this block. And this bad boy right here is the part that actually generates those blocks onto the page, along with the styling that's already pre-written in CSS. And down here is the part that gets the data from MongoDB, the database, and actually displays it into these blocks and displays it onto this dream page here. Now, that part alone was had plenty of obstacles. I'd say it was the biggest obstacle in this entire project. For some weird reason, the code is a little bit wonky and wouldn't let me do certain things that I wanted to. So I did have to find a few workarounds. And the way I got over this obstacle, the main obstacle being that the data just simply would not display onto the page. So I sort of had to fix that by storing the data temporarily in the global scope of the entire browser, and then getting the data from that place of storage, and then displaying it from there. Same when you go into these pages. As you can see, when I go into a different dream, it displays the data accurately. And another thing I would like to talk about was the obstacle of just styling in general. Not that big of an obstacle, but still a minor annoyance to get the blocks arranged perfectly in a grid like that. Now, as for future iterations of this project, I would really like to add a login and register system so that users can come in and make accounts and have all the dreams that they write stored onto their account, so that this could be a fully realized dream journal app. And in addition to that, I would also like to have a working comments system because as of right now, the comments section does not actually post anything, hence the under construction. So that's definitely on the wish list. And I would also like to add a like system to allow users to, add a thumbs up or maybe add a star if they see a dream that that they like. And maybe some sort of reward system if a person gets a certain amount of stars or gives a certain amount of stars or posts a certain amount of dreams. So yes, that is my project. And I would now like to open the floor up to anybody who has any questions or comments.
All right, Savion, thank you so much. That was awesome. All right. We are going to hand it off to Ryan.
Hello, everyone. I am going to get started here. Let me pull this over. Okay, hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Harris. I have a background in veterinary technology, but I'm pursuing a deeper understanding of coding and web development. Pairing the knowledge I received from the Savvy Coders program with certifications I've gained along the way, this will help me become a well-rounded developer and more knowledgeable of diverse topics. So I began researching resources to help me switch careers, and I found Savvy Coders on meetup.com. I attended a few webinars, and I knew this was a program that would help me accomplish my goals and to meet some great people. So for my capstone project, I decided to build a website that helps people match their personality and lifestyle with an appropriate dog breed. I felt that this was a way to pay homage to my previous career, but to also welcome in my new career of being a developer. I was able to bring my creation to life through taught lessons like implementing APIs, how they can communicate with stored data, understanding JavaScript syntax and functions, to connecting the front end to the back end. I also applied agile methodologies taught and that was used in class to structure and execute my website. So let me show you what I created. And I'm gonna share my screen here in just a second. All right, so first we are going to start with my wireframes. So this here, what you were looking at, is what I originally wanted my user flow to be. As you can see, I was very tenacious in the beginning of this course. I thought I was going to be able to knock this out and it was going to be like walking in the park. So I have a tendency to shoot for the sun. So in me mapping that out, I had to have some heart-to-heart talks with my TAs and instructors, and they're like, well, we like that you are setting these big goals, but let's think about what our minimal viable product would be. So I kind of had to tailor that down a little bit and think about what was feasible and what I could do. But this was originally what I mapped out for my user flow to be. And then next, we're going to scroll down. Are you all seeing my screen? My wireframes?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I have two screens. So here on this next screen, this is originally what I wanted my homepage to look like. So I had two navigation bars. I had all of those pages on there. I wanted to put some videos in there and have like a little section for external links. I also wanted to have a view that showed adoption groups and breeder searches. So these are just a few things that I kind of strived to do originally before we dived into everything. So from here, I'm going to jump to, we're going to talk about Agile for just a little bit. So this right here, this is our actual board that we use, me and my team. And Agile actually taught me a lot during this process. it actually helped me turn my ideas into an actual project that I could deliver. It helped me better organize my ideas, determine what's feasible and what wasn't in the time span that was given. And it also taught me how to be a better team member. Previously to this, I was good with working on teams, but I just want to get my work and go. This kind of taught me the importance of, supporting your other team members, making sure that you are clear in what you are doing, because that helps other people in their productivity as well. So using agile methodologies, using JIRA, using the boards, I believe that overall helped me to grow as a person in general, because it kind of spills over into your personal life when you're trying to be more organized. So I really enjoyed what we went over and what we implemented as far as agile. So from here, we're going to jump to my actual website. So this is what I actually came up with. So this is what my homepage looks like. And right here on the beginning of the page, I just kind of go into kind of what the objective was for Pet Match. And again, because of my previous career working with animals, I still wanted to find a way to help animals, even though I'm not physically in those hospitals anymore. And I do believe that when people make educated decisions about what dog breed is best for them, that then leads to a healthier life for the owners and the pets. And in the big picture, hoping that it will help decrease the amount of pets that are surrendered to those shelters and possibly decrease the number of pets that are euthanized because they have been mismatched or brought into the wrong homes. So that's my main page. So up here is my navigation bar, which was an obstacle in the beginning because I could not figure it out. I couldn't get it, but we got it. And this is the logo that I actually made as well. And then we just have a YouTube video right here that talks about picking the right breed of dog. There's also a contact us button down here that will pull up whatever mail application that you are currently using. If you did want to shoot us a message. So that is there. So we're gonna quit that out. So now we're gonna get to the good part, the quiz, my favorite part. Oh, okay. You're telling me that, that's fine. Okay, so this is a quiz. So I picked 3 questions that I feel like people either look for when they're looking for a pet or is the reason why they usually end up getting rid of their pets. So we have a question that's asking you to describe the size of your living space, how often you can commit to grooming your dog, and how active you are. And then we have a submit quiz button down here. So we're gonna try this out. So let's say I have a small living space with no yard available. I think I could commit to grooming my dog pretty much every day. And we're gonna say I'm a couch potato, but I will get out and go for walks. So let's submit that and see what type of dog that's gonna pair me with. So now this bumps us to our quiz result page. And it's telling me that my match is a Shih Tzu. I think that's pretty accurate. And so then we just have a cute picture of dogs here, and then right down here, learn more about your pet match breed here. And so now we also have a hyperlink right here. We're gonna click it. And that's gonna take us to our breed information page. So this page right here, I just wanted to not only match people with their pets, but tell them a little bit more about their pets. So we got matched with a Shih Tzu. So we're gonna scroll down and let's find that Shih Tzu. And here we go, super cute. So here we have like a little blurb just talking about Shih Tzus, their grooming needs, just general information about them. But we also have a link here that's going to take us to the AKC's website. So that's going to open us up another tab and take us to the AKC website so you can really get a deep dive into everything about the breed. And it's from a website and an organization that is trusted and well known for providing typical breed standard information. So we have that there. We're gonna X out of that. So next, I would like to talk about this link right here. So veterinarian. So this was an obstacle for me. Originally, I wanted to also implement the Yelp API so I could provide users of this website a way to search and find local veterinarians in their area. But I hit some roadblocks, and there was some issues with the security needs of what Yelp wanted and what I currently had in this iteration of my website. So again, jumping back to Agile, I had to make that decision of, are we going to try to tackle this and have this done, or are we going to come up with a product that works and table that for future enhancement? So I had to make that decision to do that in my next iteration of it. But we do still have a functioning API with that quiz that is taking information from the front end and sending it to the back. So that's it for my website. And so we're going to jump into some of the technical aspects of it. I'm going to bring this on over. So here, first thing I would like to go into, so those quiz answers that we have. So this page right here directly correlates with the questions that are here, oops, on our quiz page. Oh, sorry, clicking the wrong button. So here, how I structured those three questions that I had, I put them into a form tag. And then I also put each set of answers that could be chosen into a division or div tag as well. So that helped me not only structure it, but for me to assign inputs, what type of buttons I wanted, and also the value. So this is mainly what I wanted to point out. So each answer is assigned a value. So I have a value of small, medium, and large. And so when you insert those questions, it then shoots it to my database and it stores it as an object. And I have each question value to assign each question to assign a value. So that's pretty much how I structured that. And then we also have my submit button that's down here at the bottom. Another part of my code that I was really proud of are my servers. So in class, we went over how to make HTTP servers and Express servers. So here we're using an Express server. And right here, this code is how I was able to create those objects that I stored those breeds in. So this uses the schemas that were made previously by me, and it inserts the information and values that I wanted to input for each breed. And that was important because I wanted to match up the breeds with the values that were assigned to those answers that the user put in. So I was really proud of these codes that I was able to put together with the help of my instructors and my TAs. And then we're gonna jump over to my quiz answer router, because this was also something I was really proud of and something that was a huge obstacle. And I almost shed a tear when I got this to work, thanks to Matt. So right here, this section of code, basically when a set of quiz answers are submitted, it creates a new quiz answer that is then stored in MongoDB based off of the model schema that I created. But then it also filters through all of the breeds that I have stored in MongoDB and connects it to which one assigns or correlates directly with those quiz answers. So with those values, the small, medium, large, it gives you a breed that matches with the small, medium, large. So I was really proud of this. And then it also tells it where to go and where to show up. Super proud of that. And then next technical thing I would like to go over with you all is MongoDB. So I just wanted to show you all where all of those breeds are stored. So I have in my database, a section for breeds. And here you can see what I was talking about when I said each breed is stored into an object. So here for Shih Tzu, we have the name, Shih Tzu, size small, grooming needs high, energy low, which directly correlates with those questions that we saw previously. What size space do you have? How often can you dedicate to grooming your dog? How often are you going outside? So that's there. And I literally was able to identify a matching breed for every variation of answers that anyone could put in for those three questions. And then also here is also the database that stores all of those answers that are submitted. So it's working together. We also use Insomnia in class. I won't show it to you today, but we use Insomnia to help test those APIs that we were building, or even our third-party APIs, just to make sure it's working correctly and shooting back the information that we wanted to use. I was also able to use Insomnia to help me post some of those briefs into MongoDB and making sure it was in the right format that I wanted it to be in. So Insomnia was a great tool that we learned about in class as well. My website is currently being hosted from Netlify, so that's there as well. And that was a very cool part of class, because I didn't know that you could do that. So it's really cool to be able to see that I'm having a website hosted from another website. So you can see there's coming from Netlify. So overall, I'm really proud of what I was able to accomplish here. Prior to this boot camp, I had a very, very high level view of coding. I had never created an object, never created a website. The first day of class, they were talking about hamburger navigators, and I thought they were talking about food. So I've come a very long way, and I'm very proud, and I'm so grateful to all of the instructors and the TAs here that have helped me along the way. They've made sure that not only that we could do these things, but we understand them as well. And every day I'm able to go back and look at my code and see something that I could do better, or just having a better understanding of how all of this is truly connected. And this has inspired me to keep going and to keep building things. And I definitely would love to do more with this website, potentially collaborate with local shelters, behaviorists, and trainers to build this quiz out to truly ask questions that we can prepare correct breeds, and just get this to be the helpful tool that I would love it to be. And that is all I have. And I'm going to turn it over to you all. Thank you for sharing this moment with me.
Personally, as a big dog lover, I loved this. And it makes me want to go do the quiz and everything. So great job. The detail on it and everything, I think overall it's just a really great idea. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ryan, great job. When I saw that in my neighborhood, pets are everything. You see people walking their dogs all the time. When I saw that, I thought that would be so awesome, because so often you do hear people say, you know what, I got this dog from like stray rescue. Don't really know if they really was looking for a certain kind of dog, but you just have pet and animal lovers that just really don't want to see dogs abused, or any animal for that matter. So it's really cool that you get to kind of match a animal with potentially even your personality, or who you feel would help you, just continue to move out throughout your day. I didn't realize how much animals meant to people until I had a friend who pet passed away. And honestly, I felt like the dog was family just, through them. But it was really hard. And he just talked about how the dog had really got him through some tough times. And, for a while, it was just kind of like, I wasn't even looking. He was like, I wasn't even looking for a dog. But I think he inherited the dog or something. So he became attached to the dog. So when I just think about those types of things and just hear different stories about pets and things like that, I think that would be so awesome that they get to like do a quiz, kind of see how that all works out. So great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great job, Brian. And now we turn it over to Daniel. So
awesome. I'm really happy to be here with you guys this Thursday afternoon. My name is Daniel Mason. I have a background in culinary arts and information technology. For the past 10 years or so, I was honing my craft to work towards opening a small catering business, then a small restaurant. However, with the COVID lockdowns, I entered into a huge roadblock in that journey. So I pivoted towards pursuing a role in the tech industry as a developer, given that my parents' previous roles were as fiber optics technicians within IT. I was inspired to make this career change. This began with me starting out on Free Code Camp and then moving on to different online courses, books, and a website called meetup.com. From there, I discovered Savvy Coders Bootcamp. for full stack web development and enrolled. And then for today, my capstone project, I created a website called Mealtime. I was looking to help people with managing their time better in the kitchen, and I wanted the focus of this app or website to be to provide people who have a busy schedule with a convenient and healthy recipes that are executable in a specific amount of time, thereby helping them cut down on their time spent in the kitchen, letting them spend more time on the things they care about, like family, friends, or their careers. At this point tonight, I would like to begin with where I started, and that would be wireframing my capstone. So just let me start sharing my screen. Okay, here we go. So here is my wireframe and the way I envisioned my website looking. And so here we have our landing page. I just want to start from the top, the three best. And here we have a landing page just with like a simple entry point into the website. I was looking to create some buttons that would have the user go to like two other pages, one being a recipe page and the other one being like a feedback or a content page. And then as you scroll down, there'd be like different things about like the recipes, the offerings, some testimonials, some sources about like who really enjoyed using this app. And then I wanted to implement maybe some accounts going forward in future iterations, a call to action with some like download buttons to iTunes or Google Play, and then just some simple social media links at the bottom. And then as for the feedback page, I was looking to have some inputs where someone could submit like comments or things they wanted in future iterations, or if there was a bug or something wasn't working with the website. And then for the main page, being the recipe page, I wanted it the way it's presented to users, like you could look for a meal, the time that take to make that meal, and then like depending on like what diet you're using, like if you're a pescatarian or if you're ketogenic or if you're gluten-free because you have a gluten allergy, you'll be able to take you'll be able to be provided with like a meal that would fit your lifestyle and your choices. And so during the boot camp, we used Jira, and here's a Jira board, our team Jira board, where as the Scrum Master and as an IC Agile certified developer, I helped to guide the team that I was a part of to accomplishing different user stories and completing each sprint during each 2-week sprint, and then kind of just making sure, helping everyone like remain on task and helping to see that no one was left behind. And some of the setbacks that we faced was one of our team members had to move across the country, and so they lost like 2 weeks of the curriculum. And so as the Scrum Master, I helped to set up like nights during the week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, where we could all get together as a team and help this person get caught up in the curriculum, along with the resources that were offered by Savvy Coders. And I feel like that really helped that person accomplish what they set out to do in the boot camp. And I was happy that we were able to get that person caught up so they weren't left behind or like scrambling for time. Yeah, and some of the weaknesses I realized I had during this whole experience were that you have to like use different like strategies and like communication styles, because the present place where I'm working, I work in a team-oriented environment where you do work like in a team and like on your own as well. So I just had to kind of like refactor the strategies that I use at the restaurant where I'm working right now and figure out how to get them to fit into like working in like an agile mindset and as like the scrum master of the team for the boot camp. All right, and with that said, I'd like to get to my website, Mealtime, that I created for Savvy Coders Bootcamp. So here's a landing page that we have. So I ended up having it with like this family that's really enjoying like supper and some like download buttons, or like there's like a bit of an animation so you know it's working, and then some features about the website, like it's easy to navigate, tasty recipes, and they'll leave you feeling full. And then a bit more marketing about like the different types of meals that you could expect from mealtime. And then I look to implement like a slideshow to kind of go over the different types of diets. So like vegan, or like someone who really likes like barbecue, or another person who likes maybe like something like a bit fancier or like bougie. And then just a bit more marketing call to action with like 2 more download buttons and then some social media links. And then going to my other 2 pages, I have a resource page, as I previously mentioned, that's connected to FormSpree. So if you were to like submit a message like, oh, I really enjoyed using your website, it'll let you know that like it was directed to FormSpree after this like verification happens. But you can see here in the URL, and it's going to be directed to FormSpree. And then just heading back to my website, sorry about that, I have 2 other pages that I added on because I felt like there wasn't as much as like I set out to do in like my wireframe. So I added an about page to give a bit more background to Mealtime, talking to what kind of platform it is, and kind of engaging with like the audience of this website. And then my main page that I created is this other form where the user can like choose a meal, choose the time, and then choose a different diet, and then hit send. And so what that is doing is in the bootcamp, we created an Express server, and we supported REST API using that Express server. And so I use like different Axios requests so that when the user like clicks on this send button, it takes that request and it submits it to this third-party API that I'm using called Spoontacular, and like redirects them to this new page. And so I'm able to like utilize different resources on the internet to help the user find like the recipe that they're looking for, or if they only have like a specific amount of time to make something, then that's an option that's there for them. Or if they're gluten-free or if they're vegan, then those are additional options that are there for them if they need it. And then I want to use this as a transition to go into MongoDB, where I'm managing, which is the platform that I'm using to manage the data. And so here you can see like some of the requests that have been made in like the last couple hours. I gave this website out to like a few friends and family, so they have been using it for like the past couple of days or so. And then if we look at some of the collections, you can see like some of the submissions that have been made by different people using the website. Yeah, and jumping off of that, I wanted to go over some of the technical things I was proud of in creating this website during the bootcamp. So just let me share that with you. Just give me a second here. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is one of the things that I was really proud of in my journey in creating this website, which is like the Axios call that I mentioned previously, where I use like REST API to send a request to Spectacular API. And in addition to that, I use the same technology to make an additional request. So whenever a user makes a submission to look for like a particular meal that has like a time and a diet attached to it, I'm able to like keep a log of that data. And in future iterations of this website, I was looking to use that data as a way to build out the resources for mealtime. So maybe add on like a few more meals depending on like what people are looking for. So if people are looking for a lot of like things that can get done in like 30 minutes, then I would add on that. Or if there's a lot of like people who are gluten-free or who were vegan, then I would be looking to like add more meals that kind of were more of that, like gluten-free or vegan meals. And then yeah, I'm really proud of this because this is a really big struggle for me since prior to being in the bootcamp. I was studying a lot of like HTML and CSS and JavaScript just to get like a really solid foundation in those technologies and that programming language. So working on like a Express server and using REST API and like having your data stored in like MongoDB on a database in the cloud were things that were like all new to me. And so I saw them as like weaknesses at first, but I took them and like turned them into strengths. And like I feel like I've grown as a developer because before the bootcamp, I wasn't very familiar with these like technologies and like things. So yeah, I feel really proud of that I was able to do that. And then going into the other part of the technicals, I wanted to look at the different features that I added with the website. So I added like the slideshow where you can like look at different images. And I utilize the DOM and like an add event listener to get those to render on the page. And then I also added like a navbar transition. So like when you're scrolling up and down, regardless of what page the user is on, the navbar will kind of be out of the way. So it'll only be there when like you want to like make use of it. And yeah, that was my presentation for tonight. And I really felt like I grew as a developer, and I wanted to open up the floor to any like questions or any comments or thoughts about what I showed for tonight.
Well, Daniel, it's Laurie, and I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I did too.
I'm really nervous.
You know,
did an amazing job.
Everybody's nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job. It's awesome. Such a good idea. And I love the pictures and like I guess the usability of it was really great. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I am super proud of you guys. So I cannot express enough how proud I am of each and every one of you. So congratulations. Great job.
I second the motion.
All did a
If I
great
could hug you all, I would.
No hugging, Stephanie Grimshaw.
Oh, come on.
You all can breathe now. It's
And
over.
we can breathe too. I mean, we
Yeah.
hold our breath too. Yes, you're right. We all can breathe. Okay, well, do you have anything else to say, Steph? This kind of concludes demo day.
Woohoo! Great job.
All right, we'll render the videos and get them on the Savvy YouTube channel. And I will send out a link to everyone so that you can view the videos at your leisure.
I love that you do that because I want to see like everyone's project.
I know there were 4 in another room that you didn't get to see that I know you want to see.
Well, and
Yeah,
I talked to a few people during mock interviews. I'm like, so what'd you do for your project? And I'm like, ooh, I'm actually really interested in seeing that. So
you will be able to do that then.
Thank you for that. I love
Yes, no problem. They're helpful. It helps you see what kind of a person, interests and communication skills, all the things that we prize and talk about. So
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Nicole.
And Jenny.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. Everybody did a great job. So congratulations.
All right. Well, client partners, you are free to go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and students can stay so we can get their thoughts.
All right. Great job, everybody.
Thanks, Jenny. I'll reach out to you next week.
All right. Sounds great. Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thanks,
coming.
Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Nicole.